Good morning, everyone. So what I'm going to show you today is the routine that I go through before I run. I think a lot of people now are looking at new activities and maybe aren't running or haven't run as much as they are now. So this is what I do every time before I run. The first thing I do is I have my little squishy ball here, and I start and I roll out my plantar fascia. It feels really good. In fact, I do this every morning and every night basically while I brush my teeth. Just helps keep that band of tissue on the bottom of your foot a little stretched out and soft so that you don't end up with heel pain. The next thing I do is I take my stick. Everybody should have one of these. And I sit and I roll, or I stand and I roll out my calves. Just get the circulation going, loosen up those gastrocs. I spend about 30 seconds doing this. It doesn't have to be long. I don't do any static stretching before I run, but I found as I've gotten older, I need to do this. I can't just jump out of bed and go for a run. Next thing I do, foam roller. Take this, sit down on it. First thing I do is my upper back because it just feels good. I really roll out my thoracic spine. Lots of cracking going on. Go from side to side. Work on the lats, the rhomboids, those muscles in between your shoulder blades that feel so good. Then I roll up and I work on my glutes. First just like this, from side to side. Both sides. Then I cross my leg, my ankle to my knee, and really get into those external glutes. You'll feel this. It feels super good. Both sides. Then the next part is super important. I take the roller and I scoot it so there's just a little bit so I can use my other leg to keep myself steady. I work on my hamstrings and I roll my leg from side to side so I get a little bit of that IT band, the iliotibial band that goes from your hip to your knee. And then I go inside, almost getting a little bit of the groin. That just releases some of the tension. Slide it over, do the other side, same thing. Rolling from side to side, all the way from the bottom of your butt down to the back of your knee. After that's done, I slide and do my actual IT band. It's a little awkward sometimes. I didn't used to be able to do this because it was just such an intense feeling, but once you get used to it, it's really quite good. Do that on both sides. I hope you guys can see. All the way from my knee, all the way up to my hip. Do this a few times. Next thing I do is my quads. Once again, you gotta slide it kind of to the side. I find this better than doing both legs at the same time because you can get all the way up to the crease of your hip. I do my legs straight first, all the way down to the knee. Once again, rolling from side to side. Then I bend my leg like this. It's a little different sensation, puts a little more tension on the muscle. Both sides. Straight leg first. One of my friends calls this the Spider-Man stretch because you kind of feel like Spider-Man climbing up the wall. Then I bend my leg, a little more tension. Feels kind of good and hurty. Now that I've rolled out and done that, now I start a little more, not dynamic stretching, but active stretching. This really works on activating your glutes, which is important when you're running. I do about 20 air squats. You don't even need any weight to do this. Make sure the weight's in your heels. You can see, I always like to kind of pick up my toes so I know that the weight is in my heels. I don't know if this is 20 yet, but in the interest of time, I'm going to move along to my next, call it dynamic stretch. I don't know what this is called, but this is hugely important for hamstrings. It's an eccentric exercise. If any of you have had high hamstring tendinopathy like I have in the past, and actually torn a hamstring, this keeps me safe. Balance on one foot. Slow is better. Go down with your opposite hand. You don't have to touch the floor, but try to keep that other leg and toe pointing down. I like to do this in my bare feet because I think it helps strengthen the muscles in my feet and all of those muscles around your lower leg. I do this 10 or 12 times on each side. Once again, I'm not counting, just in the interest of time. I just want to show you the exercises. Sometimes one side is harder than the other, like this one. Just remember, this is the eccentric part. When you're coming up, this is what's really going to help your hamstrings. The last thing I do, and then I'm ready to go, is I do single leg. Some people call these pistol squats, but I don't go down that low. Trying to keep my hips level. It's important to find a focal point on the floor or in front of you so that you're not bobbing and weaving and falling down. Doesn't have to be low, but really focus on activating that glute muscle, which is so important when you're running. A lot of us are quadricep dominant. Those of us who are cyclists, same thing. It's interesting to know or see how much my knee wobbles from side to side. So I do this 10, 12 times on each side. Woo, see? Super wavy. All right, guys and girls, I hope that helps. I'm gonna go for a run. Have a great day. Bye.